The year 2100, a world without death? Welcome back to School of Soul. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Science of Age Reversal series. It's the year 2100. You wake up in a body that hasn't aged in decades. Your joints don't ache. Your mind is razor sharp. You haven't been to a funeral in years, not because people aren't living, but because people simply aren't dying. Hospitals are quiet, graveyards are overgrown, obituaries are obsolete. You live in a world that finally did it, a world without death. Sounds like utopia, doesn't it? But take a closer look. What does a deathless world really feel like? What systems still function? What traditions survive? What does it mean to live when living no longer has an end? This isn't just sci-fi speculation anymore. The trajectory we're on, with senolytics, gene editing, plasma therapy, AI diagnostics, and cellular reprogramming, suggests that radical life extension is no longer a dream, but a pending decision. By 2100, it is entirely plausible that millions of people will be living well past 120, with no signs of slowing down. If the velocity of discovery continues, the concept of death due to aging may disappear altogether. But with that disappearance comes a new kind of crisis, not physical, but existential. In a world without death, the very structure of life collapses. Birth, growth, decay, and death have always defined the arc of a lifetime. That arc gives us meaning. It creates urgency. It gives rise to stories, relationships, rites of passage, and evolution. But when you remove the ending, the middle gets murky. Without death, do you ever finish anything? Do you commit? Do you change? Or do you float indefinitely, without pressure, without closure? Society would be forced to reorganize. Economies would transform or collapse. Think about it. If people live to 200 or 300, how long do they work? Who retires? Who inherits? Who gets promoted? Do you keep your job for a century? Do you stay married for 5 generations? If children are still being born, how do you make space for them? Do birth rates drop to zero? Is procreation regulated? Does parenthood become a privilege rationed by the state? In this imagined year 2100, governments might implement longevity permits. You might need approval to extend your life another 50 years. Global debates would erupt over whether everyone should have access to these treatments, or whether only those with proven contributions to society should be allowed to continue. The human rights conversation would become a biological sorting mechanism. And what of the soul? If people stop dying, do they still awaken? Or does endless time numb us? What does the spiritual path look like when death is no longer the threshold we prepare for? So many traditions, religious and metaphysical, are built on the idea of transitioning beyond the body. Rebirth, ascension, liberation. If you never die, do you ever transcend? Or do you become permanently earthbound, locked in your physical form, aging mentally, even as your body stays pristine? This also brings up a disturbing possibility: soulless longevity. Bodies that remain functional but feel empty inside. People with no desire, no evolution, just algorithmic maintenance. Is that still life? Or is it suspended animation? Emotionally, the psychological toll of immortality could be heavy. Losing the rhythm of time erodes the intensity of moments. Milestones lose their power. Holidays become repetitive. Grief fades, but so does joy. When you've lived through everything 10 times, what still moves you? In a world without death, would people still fall in love? Would they still risk everything to start over? Would they still create from the edge of emotion? Or would they dull themselves to sensation just to cope with the sheer duration of life? Art might suffer. Innovation might plateau. Spiritual hunger might vanish. Because so many of our breakthroughs, emotional, creative, revolutionary, come from the pressure of time running out. Take that pressure away, and we may find that we aren't liberated. We're sedated. Of course, some will thrive. The curious, the builders, the ever-evolving, those who use every extra year to expand their mind, their impact, their compassion. But even they would face the loneliness of outliving generations, the grief of being alive when everyone you once knew has chosen, eventually, to stop. Because here's a truth most people don't want to admit. Even in a deathless world, many will still choose to die, not from pain, not from illness, but from fullness, from completion, from the knowing that their time is complete, not because their body says so, but because their soul does. And that is perhaps the only safeguard that remains: choice. In the year 2100, perhaps people are no longer required to die, but are invited, in time, to leave when their soul says it's ready. That becomes the sacred act. Death by soul timing, not cellular decay. A new kind of right, one that honors not just biology, but being. So if we ask what a world without death looks like, the answer is not black or white. It's not a utopia, and it's not a horror story. It's complex, it's messy, it's full of new dilemmas, new freedoms, and new burdens. The real question isn't whether we can live forever. The question is, should we? And if we do, how will we preserve our humanity, our rhythm, our purpose? Because life was never about how long we lasted. It was always about how deeply we lived. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones. The replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans. The merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.